Hello again, ladies and gentlemen, Sonic Yoda from SEGADriven.com, and welcome back to the Sega Driven YouTube channel. You're watching Mega Driving Club, a series all about Sega driving games. Now, I've been wanting to do a video on SEGA Rally 2007, or SEGA Rally Revo as it's known in some territories, for the channel for quite some time, because if you've never played the 360, PS3 or PC version of SEGA Rally Revo, they are some of the best Sega racing games that are available on the market. It's an absolutely brilliant reboot of the franchise. Really, really good stuff. But if you've played it, and quite a few people have, you already know this. It's a little bit unloved. I don't think it sold nearly as well as it should have, and unfortunately that meant the demise of the studio that made it. This being their only development by their studio was called SEGA Racing Studio, and yeah, a real shame. Their one and only development was such a fantastic game, and really deserves all the love it can get. If you can find a copy nowadays, it's still really highly recommended. The big gimmick with SEGA Rally 2007 or SEGA Rally Revo is that the tracks have deformation, so as you're racing you will create grooves into the track, and you want to be driving into those grooves because that gives you additional top speed and better grip, and that's really how you play this game to its best. So you're basically following your rivals' racing lines, using those grooves and getting the best speed that you can. It's a really good mechanic, and it's got that lovely handling model, that lovely arcadiness, really good graphics that still hold up to this day, well worth playing. But I don't want to talk about that version because enough people have harped on about that version, and we all know that it's a really sort of underappreciated gem. But there is another version of SEGA Rally Revo, and that is the PSP port developed by Bugbear Entertainment and released the same year. Now, this version is quite special. So basically everything from the console version comes over, all the cars, all the tracks, but the difference is that even though the tracks have the same names, they are in fact completely different layouts. So you are getting an entirely new experience with this port, even though, like I say, we are using the same vehicles and the presentation is very similar. Now, unfortunately, the PSP version doesn't do track deformation, and the way it gets around that, which you won't be able to see very well in this capture unfortunately, is the other racers and your own car as well, they leave basically track lines, like so you can see where the other drivers have driven, and using them and driving in those lines is basically going to give you the same sort of speed boost and grip that you would get with the normal track deformation from the console versions. And it works really well. Unfortunately, it's a shame that it can't obviously do the 3D actual track deformation, but I think it's obviously just a limitation of the system. The PSP is not a particularly high-powered system. But saying that, outside of the track deformation, that's the only thing that's really lost. Everything visually is still very nice. The theming of the stages looks exactly the same, even though the track layouts are different, but the actual theming themselves is very sort of comparable to the console ports. And the thing I absolutely adore is all the little details, like the mud and dirt and snow sort of kicking up onto the car and sticking there is there as well. We've also got reflective elements to the cars as well, so you can see the reflections on them as well. It's a really good port, and get this, the handling model is also really solid. I'd say it's a little bit more forgiving than the console ports, but that's no bad thing. Again, for a portable system, you kind of want something that's a bit more pick up and play, and to be able to jump into this and not really have too much of a hard time with it is greatly appreciated, because like I say, it's a handheld system. You're not going to be playing it for great extended periods of time. But yeah, this is a really robust port, a really amazing development for Bugbear Entertainment, and like I say, quite comparable to the console ports. The only thing that's really lost is that track deformation, but like I say, it still has the same sort of mechanic. It's now a texture on the circuit. You just have to follow the lines of the other drivers' tyres, and it works exactly the same. You've got that same sort of speed boost and grip that those lines provide, and yeah, it's a super port. It's really comparable. Well worth checking out. Very easy to get a hold of, and yeah, it's a really underappreciated little port. I don't think an awful lot of people have given it a go, but honestly, it's really comparable to the console ports. Well worth checking out.